Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something you experience every single day, your social media feed. We're going to crack the code on the invisible forces that decide what you see, what you share, and what ultimately goes viral.
So, to get us started, I've got a question for you. What is the one thing you have that you can never, ever get more of, and that pretty much everyone is trying to get a piece of?
You got it. It's your attention. In our world today, the most fought over commodity isn't oil, it's not gold, it's your limited, precious focus. Every single notification, every headline, every video, they're all in this constant, massive battle for just a few seconds of your time.
Now, this idea, it's not some new thing cooked up in Silicon Valley. It's actually a formal economic concept, and it was defined over 50 years ago, way before the first smartphone ever buzzed in anyone's pocket.
Yeah, back in 1971, the economist and Nobel Prize winner Herbert A. Simon saw what was coming with, well, just stunning clarity. He realized that as information becomes more and more abundant, our attention becomes the scarce resource. In his words, what information consumes is obvious. It consumes our attention.
And that, right there, is the heart of what we call attention economics. It's a way of looking at the world that treats your focus like a currency. In this economy, every platform you use, from news sites to your favorite apps, is basically designed to capture and hold as much of that currency as it possibly can.
So why is this fight for your eyeballs so intense? I mean, what are the stakes when these huge companies are all competing for the exact same limited pool of our collective focus? Well, the consequences are very, very real. This constant battle for our focus creates some serious side effects, what an economist would call negative externalities. We're talking about things like social media addiction, how quickly misinformation can spread like wildfire, and the whole world of surveillance capitalism, where our personal data becomes the product.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question. If everyone is fighting for a slice of our attention, what kind of content is actually winning? What's the secret sauce that makes something break through all that noise and go viral? Is it just random luck, or is there a code to be cracked?
Well, to answer that, a couple of researchers, Jonah Berger and Catherine Milkman, decided to go looking for a pattern. They didn't just want to theorize, they wanted to dive into a huge, real-world data set to figure out what really makes people click that share button. And when I say huge, I mean it. They analyzed every single article published by the New York Times over a 3-month period. That's almost 7,000 different articles. And their goal was really specific: to figure out what made an article land on the newspaper's most emailed list. See, this list was perfect because it was a direct measure of what thousands of people found so compelling that they didn't just read it, they felt this urge to actively share it with someone else. Now, the obvious guess, right, is that people just like sharing happy, feel-good stories. But the data showed something way more interesting, way more nuanced than that. It turns out the secret to virality isn't just about whether something is positive or negative. It's something else entirely.
The key, what they discovered, wasn't about the type of emotion an article sparked. It was about the intensity. The secret ingredient for making content go viral is something called physiological arousal.
Okay, let's break that down. The researchers looked at emotion in 2 ways. First, there's valence, which is just a fancy word for whether an emotion is positive, like joy, or negative, like anger. But the second and much more important factor was arousal. This is all about the intensity. Does the emotion activate you and fire you up, or does it kind of deactivate you?
So high arousal emotions are activating. They literally get your body ready for action. Think about the feeling of awe you get when you see an incredible nature photo, or that jolt of anger you feel when you read about an injustice. These feelings make you want to do something. On the flip side, you have low arousal emotions like sadness, which tend to make us more passive, more withdrawn. And the data backed this up perfectly. An article that sparked anger in readers was 34% more likely to make the most emailed list, and one that inspired awe, 30% more likely. See the pattern? One's a negative emotion, one's a positive emotion, but they are both high arousal. They get you fired up. And here is the knockout punch. Content that made people sad was actually 16% less likely to be shared. Why? Because sadness is a low arousal emotion. It deactivates us. It shuts down that impulse to share. So the key isn't just about being negative or positive. It's about whether you're activating or deactivating. So, okay, let's zoom out. What does cracking this virality code actually mean for you? For me, as we scroll through our feeds every single day.
I mean, think about it. The last article that made you so angry you just had to share it, or that video that filled you with so much awe you immediately sent it to a friend. You were responding directly to these high arousal emotional triggers. Knowing this code doesn't just make you a smarter consumer, it lets you see the hidden architecture of this whole attention economy.
And what that means is that the power isn't just with the platforms or their algorithms. A lot of it is with us. Every single time we click, share, or forward something, we're casting a vote for the kind of world we want to see online. We're literally shaping the conversation. So now that you know what's really driving things, what will